In a world where men are constantly told to chase, pursue, and prove themselves, there comes a rare type of man who chooses silence over noisy, stillness over desperation, and presence over pursuit. He is not cold. He is not playing games. He is simply centered. When you don't chase her, you break an ancient script written into modern dating. You refuse to be another puppet controlled by her attention, her looks, her validation. And in doing so, something powerful happens. You change the energy. You shift the dynamic. You go from being just another guy to becoming a man of gravity, mystery, and discipline. This isn't about manipulation. It's not about ego. It's about principle. Because the man who doesn't chase isn't avoiding love. He's avoiding self-abandonment. He refuses to trade his dignity for attention. He values himself enough to know if she sees his worth, she'll come closer. If she doesn't, he walks alone with pride. And what does she think when you don't chase? That's the mystery we're about to unfold. Not to understand her, but to understand you. Your power, your presence, your ability to remain calm in the emotional storms she may create. This is the Stoic way. Not cold, but clear. Not indifferent, but inwardly strong. You are not a beggar at the gates of affection. You are the gate. You decide who enters. And when she feels that shift, from being chased to being witnessed, her mind starts to race. Because for the first time, she's facing a man who cannot be moved by beauty alone. A man whose silence says more than her games ever could. Let's dive into what truly happens when you stop chasing her. Confusion, you disrupt the expected script. When you don't chase her, the first reaction in her mind is confusion. Society has conditioned most women to expect pursuit, especially when they know they hold physical beauty, charm, or attention as leverage. When you pull back or choose not to chase, you interrupt that mental narrative. Instead of validation, she's met with stillness. And that stillness screams louder than any words ever could. Her mind starts racing. Why isn't he chasing? Is he not interested? Is something wrong with me? Your inaction becomes an action. Your distance becomes a question mark in her mind. This is where you begin to separate yourself from the crowd. Because most men panic when a woman pulls back. They double text, they show up, they beg for attention. But the Stoic man, he stays grounded. He doesn't allow a fleeting emotion or ego bruise to sway him. And that unbothered energy is unsettling. In the best way. It shows her that she's not in control of your emotions. It shows that you are not like the rest, eager for validation or approval. This confusion forces her to reevaluate her assumptions. She thought she had you figured out. She didn't. In that moment, without saying a word, you've reclaimed your power. Her confusion becomes the starting point of a deeper respect, if she's capable of it. 2. Curiosity. She starts to wonder about your value once confusion settles. Curiosity takes over. She begins asking herself deeper questions, not just about you, but about herself. Did I misjudge his value? What does he see in himself that's worth more than my attention? Your silence becomes magnetic. Because true curiosity isn't born from effort, it's born from absence. And your absence becomes louder than your presence ever was. The truth is, people value what they can't control, what seems to have its own gravitational force. When you don't chase her, you become a mystery. And mystery breeds attraction. It's not about playing games. It's about having enough self-respect to let her meet you halfway, to deserve your presence. This curiosity often triggers a subtle shift in her energy. She might test the waters. She might post something attention-seeking, reply to your story, or check in indirectly. That's not always because she misses you. It's because she wants to see if you still care. If you take the bait, she confirms her power. If you stay calm, she questions her influence. Curiosity can also make her see you as more than a man who wants her. You become someone with a life, a mission, a backbone. That's rare. That's attractive. And most importantly, that curiosity is the first sign that she now sees your value not as something desperate, but as something dignified. You've stopped chasing her, but she's starting to chase your meaning. 3. Ego triggered, she questions her own worth. The moment you stop chasing, something deeper happens. Her ego gets triggered. She might not admit it, but part of her identity is built on being wanted. When that's taken away, it forces her to look inward. And often, that reflection isn't flattering. She starts to wonder, was I not good enough? Did he see through me? Was I just a temporary thrill? When a man refuses to chase, it silently communicates that he sees himself as valuable, with or without her approval. And that truth, if she isn't grounded herself, can sting. You're not punishing her, you're simply choosing yourself. But in a world where women are often praised for beauty more than character, being unbothered by her looks is a revolutionary act. Her ego isn't necessarily evil, it's just vulnerable. She expected you to pursue like the others. Instead, you respected yourself enough to stay centered. And that unsettles her, not because she's bad, but because she's used to men valuing her more than she values herself. Now she has a choice to evolve or retreat. A high-value woman will reflect and potentially grow. A shallow one will label you as arrogant or cold. Either way, her ego has been challenged. You've shown her what it looks like when a man refuses to chase, but still holds presence, dignity, and purpose. That's not rejection. That's respect for yourself. And ironically, it's what often makes her start seeing you in a new light. 4. Respect emerges, she sees you differently now. After the confusion, curiosity, and ego bruises fade, something new arises, respect. Because now, she's seen something rare, a man who doesn't beg, doesn't chase, and doesn't need approval to feel whole. That's power. Quiet, grounded, masculine power. By not chasing her, you've taught her that your time and energy are not easily given. That your presence is not a gift handed out, but earned through mutual value. Most men fold at the first sign of rejection or distance. You stood still. That's when respect begins. Respect doesn't mean she'll always come back. But it does mean she'll never forget how different you were. And if she does come back, it's not to test you. It's because she sees something worth following. She starts to remember your words. The way you carried yourself. How you never reacted emotionally to her games. That composure echoes in her memory. This is what Stoicism teaches us. True power lies in control. Not of others, but of yourself. You don't chase because you understand your value. And once she realizes that, she begins to admire it. Sometimes silently, sometimes openly. But the respect is there. And respect, when paired with attraction, becomes something far deeper than lust. It becomes devotion. You didn't force her to see it. You simply revealed it by not chasing. That's how masculine energy commands. Not through noise, but through stillness. 5. She reflects, did I lose a rare man? At the final stage, a real question begins to haunt her. Did I lose someone rare? This question doesn't come from ego or insecurity. It comes from truth. Because time reveals what instant attraction can't. And over time, she realizes that the man who didn't chase her might have been the man worth keeping. The modern world is loud, desperate, and addicted to attention. When a man steps away from that chaos and chooses peace, purpose, and self-respect over pursuit, he becomes a rare force. And she begins to see what most overlook: he's different. This is where regret can creep in. Not because you ignored her, but because she misjudged your value. She remembers how you didn't overreact, how you gave space without resentment, how you stayed grounded, even when she expected you to fall apart. That grace becomes your legacy in her mind. She might reach out. She might stay silent. But either way, she reflects. You are no longer just another guy. You are now a symbol of restraint, power, and sovereignty. Even if nothing rekindles, your detachment became a lesson. You didn't chase her. You chose yourself. And that's the highest form of attraction. Not to others, but to your own soul. So, what does she think when you don't chase her? She thinks about you more than she ever did before. So, what does she think when you don't chase her? She thinks about you, but differently than before. She no longer sees a man who seeks her validation. She sees a man who walks with purpose, who knows who he is, and who doesn't fold under pressure. This isn't about trying to make her miss you. It's about you not missing yourself. Most men lose themselves in the chase. They water down their essence, compromise their values, and exhaust their peace just to be noticed. But not you. You've chosen to stand in the fire of discomfort without reacting. That's masculine restraint. That's stoic leadership. And whether she admires you, questions you, misses you, or forgets you, none of it changes your core. You've already won, because you didn't betray yourself for someone who couldn't see your value without being chased. She may come back. She may not. But you? You're walking forward. You're building. You're grounded. Understand this: your silence speaks louder than compliments. Your absence reveals more than your presence ever could. And the moment you stopped chasing, you gave her the gift of real reflection. Not just about you, but about herself. Some women grow from that. Others run from it. Either way, you remain still, unshaken, unchained. Let the world chase chaos. You chase excellence. Let others need to be seen. You see yourself. Because when you stop chasing her, you give her the rarest experience, a man she can't control but can deeply respect, a man who leads with peace, a man who chooses himself and invites her to rise, not run. That's not weakness. That's legacy. And that is what she thinks when you don't chase her.